Earthkins, welcome back to Futurama Friday. Today we have the thrilling conclusion of the Time Bender trilogy in issue 19, and I would like to apologize for the delay on this issue. Now, as you can see on the cover, the events from last week's issue are continuing to unfold. On the back cover, we have an ad for The Simpsons Classics, number 2. The name of this week's story is simply the Time Bender Trilogy, Part 3, although it is actually Part 4. The story begins with a recap of last week's issue, delivered by the Recapatron 5000, where we see Leela in Hades, Fry on a suicide mission, and Bender, of course, is with Samantha, still being burnt alive at the stake. Fry is continuing his heroic suicide mission to blow up the Omicron Persei Empire. But on his journey, he is inevitably captured by the Omicronians and put into a POW camp. At night, the other prisoners come up with a breakout plan, but foolishly leave Fry in charge of opening the door in the armory so that they can escape. As the escape plan unfolds, Fry is making his way through the darkness, but he is then stunned to find that instead of the armory, he has walked right into Lur's bedroom. The next morning, after some medical experiments, it is found that Fry suffers from a very contagious case of stupidity. And so Fry, along with everyone he has come in contact with, is let free from the POW camp and their enslavement by the Omicronians. Planet Earth is then placed under quarantine as the Omicronian invaders flee the planet. Later, at an award ceremony, Fry is talking with the janitor when he leans against an ice sculpture. The sculpture then crashes to the ground and Leela comes bursting out of the ice. Leela then begins to recount the events leading to her being trapped into the ice. First, Leela kicks Death's butt right into the river where the sticks and stones surely do break his bones. Then Leela is almost mauled to death by Cerberus, a three-headed dog. Cerberus is then ripped apart from pulling on its chain and is revealed to be nothing more than a robot dog. Seeing her opportunity, Leela then takes the chance to escape from Hades along with the others following her in the underworld. But just as quickly as Leela has escaped, she is picked up by Dionysus. But with a fierce punch, Leela is free from the clutches of Dionysus. Now in control of the situation, Leela is on her way back to Mount Olympus. But at Mount Olympus, Leela finds that all of the gods are drunk, and that the gods have planned to blow up the polar ice caps and flood all of Earth. Leela acts fast and manages to catch up to the rocket in mid-flight. Leela manages to change the course of the rocket and slip off just before it explodes. Bucky, however, is not so lucky. Unfortunately, the fall off of the rocket sends Leela hurling into the frozen, icy waters that rest below. Suddenly, as Leela is recounting her story to Fry, Bender appears and begins to tell the story of his incredible survival, starting with the fact that robots can't be burnt. Bender then goes on to say that he started an industrial revolution with his robot brothers and sisters who rose up against humanity until Bender became the supreme ruler of Earth. All of a sudden, 3 pieces of the time machine spring out of Bender's chest. The crew then runs to the Museum of Disturbing History to find the last piece of the time machine. But first, they find the bones of Professor Farnsworth on exhibit. Fortunately for our heroes, the last piece of the time machine rests within the pocket of Professor Farnsworth. With all 4 pieces of the time machine now assembled back together, there is a large flash of light, and suddenly the crew is hurled back into the time of the dinosaurs, where Hermes and the professor are already on the run from a T-Rex. Standing around instead of running, Fry is then horribly eaten in one mighty gulp by the T-Rex. The professor then realizes that he can still use the time machine as long as it is intact. So Hermes tosses the professor into the air and directly into the T-Rex's mouth. Now inside the belly of the beast, the professor manages to push a few buttons and activate the time machine. With our heroes now safely back into the future, Leela talks to Cubert about how the professor was able to go back in time and prevent himself from inventing the time machine in the first place. And so, everything went back to normal, and it was as if nothing had ever happened or changed at all. Also, Zoidberg was there. Alright, Earthkins, I hope you enjoyed the dramatic conclusion to the Time Bender trilogy. So for now, let's get into the special appearances from this issue. Up first, we have Lur, ruler of planet Omicron Persei 8, who, for the second time in the comic book series, has tried to invade Earth. In the Omicronian POW camp, we get to see Horrible Gelatinous Blob, the Blue Hyper Chicken Lawyer, and the ref from the Ultimate Robot Fighting Championship. That's all for this week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, as well as signing the Save Futurama petition. Links for all three are down in the description box below, and I will see you next Friday with a new story in issue 20, and a new background for the show.